The December snow fell softly on Fifth Avenue, each flake catching the warm glow of the holiday shop windows. Margaret sat on her weathered wooden crate, her bare feet numb against the cold pavement. At 28, life had taken turns she never expected. Her blonde hair, once carefully styled for job interviews, now hung in gentle waves around her shoulders. The cream-colored dress she wore, a remnant from better days, was frayed at the edges but still carried traces of its former elegance. Her violin case lay open beside her, scattered with a few coins from the morning rush. The music had always been her refuge. Even now, when everything else had fallen away, she could still create something beautiful. Margaret drew her bow across the strings, letting Pachelbel's cannon fill the bustling street. The melody rose above the city noise, pure, achingly beautiful. She closed her eyes and remembered her grandmother's words. Music is the language of the heart, dear one. When words fail us, it speaks. Hundreds of people passed by that afternoon. Businessmen in expensive coats hurried past, their phones pressed to their ears. Couples window shopping paused briefly, then moved on. A few dropped coins without looking. Their charity distant and mechanical. Margaret had grown accustomed to being invisible. 3 months on the streets had taught her that most people looked through her, not at her. She understood. She had done the same thing once, in her previous life. As the afternoon light began to fade, she noticed a man approaching slowly. He was perhaps 45, with dark hair touched by silver at the temples. His charcoal wool coat was clearly expensive, but it was what he carried that caught her attention. A tiny baby, maybe 3 months old, bundled in soft blankets. The man stopped directly in front of her. Margaret's fingers faltered on the strings, the music trailing off into silence. She looked up, expecting to see the usual awkward politeness, the hurried fumbling for loose change. Instead, she saw something different in his eyes. Recognition. Not of her face, but of her humanity. That was beautiful, he said quietly, shifting the sleeping infant gently in his arms. His voice carried the weight of recent grief, though she couldn't have known then what shadows he carried. Margaret's throat tightened. When was the last time someone had truly listened to her music? Really listened? Thank you, she whispered. The man, she would later learn his name was David, studied her face with genuine concern. You're cold, he observed, noting her bare feet, the way she trembled despite trying to hide it. I'm all right, Margaret replied automatically. Pride was sometimes all she had left. David adjusted his baby daughter against his shoulder. Little Emma, named for his late wife, stirred slightly but remained peacefully asleep. My wife used to say that music chose its messengers carefully. She believed that true musicians were entrusted with something sacred. The words hung in the winter air between them. Margaret felt tears prick her eyes. She sounds wise. She was. David's voice caught slightly. She passed away when Emma was born. Sometimes I walk the streets with her, trying to find meaning again. Today, your music stopped me. Margaret saw it then, the grief that mirrored her own losses, though his were wrapped in fine clothes and hers in worn fabric. Pain, she realized, was the great equalizer. What would you tell someone, David continued, his voice gentle, who had forgotten how to hope? The question surprised her. Here was a man who clearly had material comfort, yet he was asking her, someone society had discarded, for wisdom. Margaret set down her violin carefully. I'd tell them that hope isn't something we hold on to. It's something that holds on to us. Even when we can't feel it. She paused, remembering. My grandmother used to say that every ending is just a note in a longer song we can't hear yet. David's eyes brightened with unshed tears. Emma's mother used to say something similar. That every person we meet is carrying a song only they can sing. Then maybe, Margaret said softly, we're meant to listen to each other's music. Something shifted. In the space between them. Not pity or charity, but recognition. Two souls acknowledging each other's worth. David reached into his coat, and Margaret tensed, expecting money. Instead, he pulled out a business card. I own several hotels in the city. We're looking for someone to play background music in our lobbies during the holiday season. The pay is good, and there's an apartment above one of the smaller properties that comes with the position. Margaret stared at the card, hardly daring to believe what she was hearing. I don't want to intrude, David continued, but talent like yours shouldn't be wasted on the street. And honestly, after listening to you play, I think you'd bring something special to our guests. Something real. Why? Margaret whispered. Why are you doing this? David looked down at his sleeping daughter, then back at Margaret. Because 3 months ago, I was broken. Completely lost. And strangers showed me kindness when I needed it most. Small acts, mostly, a nurse who stayed late, a neighbor who brought meals, the mailman who asked how I was doing. He paused. I learned that kindness isn't about having enough to give. It's about recognizing when someone needs to be seen. Margaret felt the walls she had built around her heart begin to crumble. I don't know what to say. Say you'll consider it. Come by tomorrow morning if you'd like. The address is on the card. As David prepared to leave, he turned back once more. Margaret, she looked up, surprised he had asked her name. Your music today reminded me that beauty still exists in the world. Even in the hardest seasons, there are still songs worth singing. That evening, Margaret sat in the small room at the shelter, holding David's business card. For the first time in months, she allowed herself to imagine a different tomorrow. The next morning, she stood outside the elegant hotel lobby, her violin case in hand. Through the glass windows, she could see David holding Emma, both of them looking toward the door as if they had been waiting. When their eyes met, David smiled, not the practiced smile of politeness, but the genuine warmth of someone who had found an unexpected friend. As Margaret walked through those doors, she realized her grandmother had been right. Every ending was indeed just a note in a longer song. And sometimes, if you listen carefully enough, you could hear the next movement beginning. The music that filled the hotel lobby that December was unlike anything the guests had heard before. It spoke of resilience and grace, of losses transformed into deeper understanding. It was the sound of two broken hearts learning to sing in harmony, discovering that the most beautiful melodies often come from the places we thought were silent. Forever. And little Emma, sleeping peacefully in her father's arms, seemed to smile as the music played, as if she too understood that some songs are worth waiting for.